So what are structs? One of the things I wanted to talk about today is structs. There's structs in a lot of different programming languages. So for instance, C, C++, structs are very popular. Structs also exist in languages like Cold Fusion, JavaScript, Swift, and Objective-C. So one of the things that's interesting about Objective-C is that it's originally built, it was based off of C first, and then all the object-oriented parts were essentially put on top of the language. And so there's actually kind of a clear differentiation between what's actually C code and what is actually Objective-C code. And that's why Objective-C code tends to be in square brackets. It's to make that differentiation. So since it's part of the C family of languages, structs have always been a part of Objective-C. But one of the things we have to be careful about is if you're doing any type of interop between Objective-C and Swift, which is pretty common nowadays, Objective-C structs will not work in Swift. The structs that exist in Swift are completely different from the structs that you would use in Objective-C. That being said, let's take a quick look and see what structs in Objective-C actually look like. All right, so here I have kind of a starter project inside of Xcode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and define a struct, and I'm going to define a struct for essentially holding a point. So I'm going to come over here and say struct, and we will say coordinate, and then the coordinate I'm going to set up a float of x and a float of y. And then down here in my main function, I'm going to create a new coordinate. So what I would do is here is I'd say struct coordinate 0.1. Now I've defined it. Now what I can do is I can come over here and I can say 0.1.x, and we'll set that to a float value here. And we'll say point y. We'll also set this to a float value. And if I want to see what that looks like, if I print it out, I'll come here and do an nslock. And we will say x and y. And let's put a %f, and we'll do another %f. So I come in here and say 0.1.x and 0.1.y. And now we should be able to print that out. Now if I come here and run that, let's activate the console, and sure enough, it output my two coordinates. So something that's also nice is that since we're using C as the basis for Objective-C, one of the things I can also do is I can come here, I can say type def coordinate, and give it a name of coordinate. And then down here, if I want to, I can just use the name that I just defined here, and I don't have to put in struct in front of it. If I come here and run that again, you see that just works. So if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, please leave those in the comments. Have a nice evening.